Cancer is a continuously growing global health problem that poses major challenges, most especially in developing countries. Find out how this international distributor of innovative health products came up with a series of solutions to help increase a patient's chance to survive the odds. In 2020, the Philippines hit a record of 354,398 prevalent cancer cases within a 5-year period. But because of poor access to health care, especially for people living below the poverty line, the advances and breakthroughs in cancer remain unattainable to many.
Cancer refers to a group of diseases that's characterized actually by cell growth, abnormal cell growth and proliferation, inflammation, as well as angiogenesis or formation of new blood vessels. It always starts with mutation in the genome or the genetic makeup of a person inside the cell. Before PPARs, most of my patients, they were unable to finish the chemotherapy regimens because of the side effects and because of discomfort during the process of chemotherapy.
Maria's son Dominic was diagnosed with stage 4 rhabdomyosarcoma when he was only 4 years old. While coping with the recovery of her other sick child, Maria found it hard to accept Dominic's condition.
It was actually very devastating kasi with Dominic, it was manifested mga 4 years old na siya eh. Unlike dun sa daughter ko na congenital talaga, baby pa lang. Yung mga bandang September, meron nang umuumbok-umbok dito sa leeg niya. Hindi ko talagang iniisip na cancer kaagad siya until nag-nosebleed siya.
Dominic was prescribed chemotherapy, but his family insisted to rush to an integrative doctor to seek for alternative cure.
Medyo hesitant ako kasi as a mother, I know the side effects ng chemotherapy kasi. So what I did is that I rushed towards the integrative doctor of my daughter, who happened to be PPAR partner doctor of Simply Nature.
One of the hardest decisions to make for people living with cancer is choosing the kind of treatment that would work best. To help patients and their families deal with this growing health problem, one company commits to producing safe, credible, and natural health solutions by drawing on the latest bioscience technology to deliver a series of safe, efficient, and natural products. What is Simply Nature and what does it do?
Simply Nature is a company we created and founded about 10 years ago. Our mission is to find effective health solutions for people. So we provide natural products that work in combination with conventional therapy and medicine.
As an international company that provides natural solutions for cancer, metabolic syndrome, and degenerative diseases, the management upholds a health philosophy that centers on whole food nutrition as the frontier in health management.
When we talk about choosing treatment, especially in the area of cancer, patients are really afraid of chemotherapy because of its side effects, and they tend to then look towards natural products. But this is not a either conventional or natural choice. At Simply Nature, patients can have the best of both worlds. Our protocols work with conventional chemotherapy to minimize its side effects so that they can get the best treatment using both conventional and natural together.
Cancer is like a virus. It continuously evolves, it mutates. So it can develop defenses against our usual treatment modalities like chemotherapy.
Like I said, chemotherapy and radiation therapy have a lot of side effects. So more often than not, patients stop their treatment because of these side effects. It's very important to have the support.
With the supplements that we give the patients, there will be lesser side effects, so they will be able to finish their chemotherapy protocols more comfortably.
This company introduced PPARs, which is touted as one of the best natural ways of solving serious health problems.
PPARs stands for peroxisome proliferator activating receptors. It's basically a nuclear receptor found inside the cells. Now, when these receptors are activated, the benefit that you can get from that is, number one, cellular differentiation. Number two, it's to promote fatty acid metabolism. If you have better insulin function, your blood sugar will naturally go down. And another one is to induce cancer cell death by modulating the immune system.
As a sole distributor of PPARs, the company promotes its use to many reputable health institutions worldwide and actively organizes corporate health conferences and public health talks in Asia.
Simply Nature PPARs is made out of a special strain of these types of microalgae. It is very effective by protecting the bone marrow. We maintain the integrity of the immune system of the patient, which is very important to prevent infections and to fight off the cancer itself. And also, Simply Nature PPARs is also very dense in nutrients so that the patient can recover faster because of better cellular healing.
Sabi ko parang na-lead kami to an extraordinary and I must say amazing journey. I'm very proud of him. At a young age na 8 years old, he believes that it's his purpose to siguro encourage other people then. We would like to really pay it forward with the knowledge that there's really like Simply Nature that can help people with cancer very much.
When fighting cancer, living healthy is very important because it allows us to pursue what is important to us in life, and that's what it's all about. When we can help a patient move from being bedridden to getting up, to be lucid in thought so that they can have conversations with their loved ones, it gives the whole process of fighting cancer a whole new meaning. And that is what drives us at Simply Nature.
But I really wanted to share yung point from childhood. So 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, the sort of house I live in, or the kind of car I drove, but the world made the difference because I was important in the life of a child.
Good morning, everyone. We are from Simply Nature, and that is Tito Shyan, and I'm Tita Jesslyn.
Hey, Poliana Jansen. Jesus loves me.
Jesus loves me.
For our gratitude, Mr. Shyan.
Ito na ba ang mga sundalo ng Israelita? Maliit man ako sa iyong paningin, malaki ang aking Diyos. Tutulungan ako ng aking Diyos at lalabanan kita at tatalunin kita.
Nayanig ang paligid sa pagbagsak ni Goliath.
Ricky. Pasalamatan naman natin si Mother Ricky at palakpakan din natin siya kahit siya ay nasa ibang lugar ngayon.
Paano kayo di gagaling, di ba?
Pinupurit, sinasamba kita. And Lord, we believe you for testimony from every child in this place. In Jesus' name we pray. And all God's people say, Amen! Hallelujah!
Nung 2022 po, yung parang inipon ko talagang pera pambili nung Simply Nature, nung vials, ng PPARS. Yun po yung iniinom ko.
Cancer lang siya, strong tayo. Kaya patuloy lang po tayong lumaban kasi may Panginoon tayong gumagabay sa atin lagi. Yun lang.
And on behalf of the Simply Nature team, God bless you all. Maraming salamat for blessing us this day. We hope that we have made you all happy. God bless you once again. Here in Simply Nature, we are always with you from start to healing. Thank you, everybody.
CA markers.
Mataas siya. Then, nung after 3 months, nung pag-take ko ng Simply Nature, doon, naging normal na siya until now. Kahit si Dr. Johan na gulat siya kasi biglang normal agad. In just 3 months, nag-normal agad yung CEA ko. 1 year and 5 months. Cancer-free. Dapat may food supplements kayo. Like Simply Nature na proven and tested ko na. Talagang hindi ako pwedeng mawala ng Simply Nature na yan.
2019, I was being diagnosed a cancer of my uterus. So I was shocked. Sabi ko, bakit nagkaroon ako ng ganito? Samantalang hindi ako mahilig sa pagkain. I'm sorry, basura. Started the tablet and then the powder. Tinry ko din yung yung tawag dito.
Gel?
Yeah, yung gel. Yes. It's really good. After 2 months ng aking therapy and taking PPARS, sabi ni doktora, pagpa-laboratory ka na. So, nung nagpa-laboratory na ako, praise God, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, lahat normal. To God be the glory. Salamat sa Diyos. Sa 2 months ko po ng aking pag-take ng PPARS, ako po ay cancer-free.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Simply Heal. I have with me Dr. Jansen Calalan.
Hello Shyan, hello everyone, happy to be here again.
Today, we are just over all the festive seasons, from Christmas to New Year's to even the Chinese Lunar New Year, where we've all been feasting and feasting and feasting. So today's topic is really appropriate. It's beating heart disease. Doc, we always talk about cancer on Simply Healed, but the truth is the number one killer in most countries around the world is...
It's still cardiovascular disease or your heart attack. Okay.
All right. Wow. And what are the risk factors of heart disease? We all know this, but could you briefly go through it?
Yeah, okay, so as you can see here in this image, there are different kinds of heart, these are the risk factors for heart disease. We have modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors, but I want to focus more on cholesterol, okay, because this is the most important risk factor, whether or not you get heart disease or not. Okay?
Doc, I noticed something that's very important to focus on. I noticed on the chart here, it doesn't say cholesterol. It says LDL cholesterol.
Yes.
And we have two types of cholesterol, HDL and LDL. So the main factor in creating heart diseases is not HDL but
LDL.
Doc, what's the difference between LDL and HDL?
Okay. LDL, okay, what does this mean? It's low density lipoprotein. HDL means high density lipoprotein. So what are lipoproteins? Lipoproteins are proteins that transport fats or transport lipids. Okay, by the name lipo, which is fat, and protein.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So these are like taxis. Okay.
Okay.
So,
these are your Grabs and your Angkas.
Yes, these are your Grabs, no, and your Uber. Okay. So what's the difference between high density and low density?
Yes.
Okay. So high density lipoproteins are taxis, no, that transport people from where they are back to the headquarters in the liver.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically inside our body, HDL cholesterol gets the fats from the blood vessels, gets the fats from the tissues back to the liver, so that the liver can metabolize, can process the fats. LDL is different. LDL is the taxi that brings the fats from the liver, from the intestine, from the food that you eat, to the tissues, to the rest of your organs, to the rest of your body, to
and
the
that's
blood
what,
vessels.
to clock things up.
Yes.
So to put it simply, the HDL is the one that takes the cholesterol out from your blood vessels to be processed out.
Yes.
The LDL is the one that distributes fats and cholesterol all over your body.
Yes, correct.
So that is why LDL causes coronary heart diseases. Yeah. All right, now we are very clear. Doc, what is the difference? I'm kind of curious. Are there people or countries where heart disease is a lot less than other countries?
Oh, so of course there are a lot. Okay, just by looking at this graph,
this graph tells me I should visit Japan.
All of you are very familiar with the flags that are indicated here. Okay, so the number one contender we have for
ding, ding, ding.
heart disease is Finland. Unfortunately.
Wow.
And when we compare Finland to Japan, Finland has 14 times more heart disease compared to Japan.
14 times. Wow, that is absolutely astounding. That is a very huge factor. And I can see very near Finland is the United States of America. Where does Philippines fall in this chart by your guess?
By my guess, Philippines
maybe
would
near
be...
America, right?
Yeah.
Because we eat like Americans.
Yes, because Philippines unfortunately is highly westernized. And as you can see, in the previous slide, where we compared the statistics, just like the rest of the world, just like the US, the number one killer of Filipinos is heart disease.
It's really interesting. If you go to Vietnam, it's quite hard to find fat people.
Yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry to say, but it's really easy to find slightly matabat people in
Philippines. Yes.
It's like you throw one stone, you hit four.
Oh, that's true. That's true because the rates of overweight Filipinos is 1 in 4.
Oh wow. Okay, so I was just making a wild guess and
yeah, you hit the mark.
Let's look at a bit more. How big is the cholesterol difference between a person in Finland and a person in Japan?
Okay, so in Finland, average cholesterol levels is 264. In Japan, it's 144.
Wow,
okay.
It's like half. Half the amount. Imagine your pipe is half as clogged. I think that is already very, very clear.
Yeah, absolutely. And when they further investigated,
Why is the Finland I would think, the Finnish, they seem like a nice bunch of people, they're not like...
Yeah, they're happy people.
They're happy people, so why do they have so much cholesterol?
Yeah, it's because of the diet. So when they look at their diet, compared them the Finnish diet and the Japanese diet, the stark difference is the saturated fats really. So in Finland, 22% of their calories comes from saturated fats, where in Japan it's only like 3%. So
wow,
it's like,
I'm really curious. What do the Finnish people eat that is so high in fat?
Yeah, the Finnish people usually eat dairy. They have very high consumption of
dairy, cheese, milk,
oils, of course red meat as well.
Oh wow!
So these and yeah, if you take a look at the amount of fiber that they eat compared to Japanese.
Because Japanese eat a lot of seaweed and
Yes.
everything. They like a lot of vegetables, a lot of the edamame and legumes, right? Edamame, legumes. Actually the Japanese do eat a lot of vegetables. Except that, in Philippines, when we go to a Japanese restaurant, absolutely no vegetables.
Tonkatsu,
It's just rice and tempura. Alright? Doc, I thought this particular chart was very interesting. Because we know the Japanese are healthier, at least when it comes to heart disease. But this chart is very interesting. When a Japanese moves to California, he becomes Californian. His health drops to the level of a Californian American.
Yes. So, but this just goes to show that this goes beyond genetics. I mean, it doesn't mean that you're Japanese and when you go to the US, you go to a Western country and you adapt their lifestyle, then you won't get heart disease because you're Asian. No, it's not true. Whether or not you get heart disease entirely depends on the diet where you're living.
So it's really like you are who you hang out with.
Yes.
And
correct.
Okay, so this one I'm gonna okay, everybody that's watching right now, I'm sure a lot of you will cheer me on because the next thing I'm gonna say, you're gonna say, yeah, Shen, that's it, preach it, right? Which is, it's really hard to eat healthy because of the country that we live in. So on our show, on this show, and many times, Dr. Jansen really advocates eating healthy, plant-based whole food diet. And Dr. Jansen's my friend. It's good because every time I eat with him, I have to eat, but it looks like I'm influencing him. So it's really quite a challenge especially if you're not sick. I mean, if you have cancer, that's very motivated to eat healthy. But not all our viewers here personally have cancer or are cancer patients. So it's really hard to eat healthy, and even if we do, we are not really eating healthy. For example, some of us say we exercise because we go to the gym once a week. That is not enough.
Yes, absolutely. You're right.
You actually need 3 times a week going to the gym and 4 times a week walking, exercising. So basically 7 days a week you have to be moving. So just by eating healthy 3 days out of a week does not make you have a healthy diet. So in a way, Doc, we really somehow, even when we try, we still see people who try to eat healthy, fall sick and don't do well. And it's really because the solution is to move to Japan. Right? Because if you move to Japan, you simply cannot find what you want to eat, and you have to eat what they eat, and what they eat is healthy. So Doc, here's my question. If we can't really change the food we eat because it's so difficult because of the country that we live in, is it fair to say then the strategy to keep healthy in an unhealthy diet country is to take supplements?
Yes, that's true. Supplements would do an enormous amount of help when it comes to your health, no? But of course, we should not have this mindset that...
Agree. Okay, I'm not telling you eat all the crap and then just take supplements. No.
Okay. But here's... so where am I coming from? Okay, so I looked at this study. So the researchers had 2 groups, no? So one group, they fed them eggs. No? Eggs. Yeah, so as expected, eggs are very high in cholesterol.
Yes.
So these participants actually increased the amount of cholesterol in their blood.
Yeah.
Now the other group, likewise, they fed them eggs, but Along with the eggs, they supplemented them with microalgae.
Microalgae. You get what the best of all microalgae. I'm not being biased here. Is Simply Nature Pipa tablets. All right, but what happened?
Yeah, what happened? So, the researchers looked at these participants who took microalgae, their cholesterol, to the other group who had no microalgae supplementation.
So supplementation is really a strategy. Ask us more questions in the Ask Me Anything part on how to select the supplements that will make a difference to your life. Doc, let's finish up on the heart disease. Heart attacks. We talk about heart attacks. Heart attacks, first thing that comes to our mind is our arteries get clogged up.
Yes.
When does this start?
Okay. Some of you might think that arteries get clogged up during young adulthood, probably.
No, actually, I thought it started only in my 30s.
Only 30s, right?
When you're young, you think nothing hurts you.
Yeah, but when they investigated children who unfortunately died at a very young age, right? So when they opened them up, they noticed that at age 10, they already have fatty streaks, which is the precursor of atherosclerosis, which is what we call the clog in the arteries.
That's not strange because today parents feed their children fast food.
Yes, so
eat snacks, potato chips, popcorn, all these nonsense.
Absolutely. So this would also be, this would also explain why we find teenagers, young adults as early as early 20s, below 20 to 25 years old, who are already diabetic or who already have high blood pressure. It's because of this. Now, before, when we discuss diabetes, right? Type 2 diabetes is adult onset diabetes.
Oh, it's supposed to be, right?
It's supposed to be. It's related to lifestyle. But now we have children who have type 2 diabetes.
Children. Wow, that means under 12.
Below teenagers,
okay. 12 to 14.
12 to
16.
12 to 16 years old.
Wow, that's very
diabetes.
Young. Diabetes.
It's because of parents feeding their kids the wrong food.
So parents, stop with the cheap, especially the cheap sweet drinks. Terrible for your kids. Don't silence your kids with candies. It's really bad for them. All right. Doc, when I met, maybe about 10 years ago, when I met a cardiologist, and I brought up the topic that you can unclog your blood vessels, their face turned white. Like I said something really, really bad. Yeah. And it surprised me. And I realized to them, if you unclog your blood vessels, you might break a piece off and suffer aneurysm, a stroke. So, but can you actually reverse a blood clot?
Yeah, you can actually reverse a blood clot pretty safely.
How come? How come? Because the clot doesn't break off like this, right? It's more like Meron sandpaper, where it gets removed
slowly.
Yeah.
So how does this mechanism come up? No, actually, I remember my uncle. Because my uncle just underwent a angioplasty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he suffered a heart attack before, so he had to undergo bypass surgery, open heart bypass surgery. So they put in new arteries inside him. Then because of his work, because of the nature of his work, recently he underwent angiography again. Then lo and behold, there are blocks again. Actually 4 vessels that are plugged. So those 4 vessels, they put stents. So the question is, yes, the cardiologist, the doctors, his doctors were able to open up his arteries again. But the question is, even if they open up the arteries, will the stent or will the repair get plugged up again? Yes, because the root cause, which is a very high cholesterol diet, was not changed. The stressful nature of his work did not change. Okay, so this would happen again. Now, once the clog happens again, how then do you reverse it? Because you cannot insert another stent on top of another stent.
That's true.
Yeah, because
even stents had failures in the past.
It can fail. I mean,
stents can fail.
I mean, your blood vessel is only so big, right? So you cannot put another stent on top of another stent. Okay. Now, how do we then go about this? This will not be sustainable in the future. So there has to be a way wherein you can dissolve the clots naturally without intervention or without medical intervention. And this is the proof. Okay, this is a study made by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. So this image is a myocardial perfusion scan. So the black thing that you see there, where the arrow is pointing, is a part of the heart where there is no perfusion. And just after 3 weeks of a whole food plant-based diet, the blood perfusion was restored.
Wow, so blood is flowing where it was not flowing.
Yes.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So this is not like the 6 month, 1 year thing that we keep thinking to ourselves.
Yeah, and these patients are already patients where there is nothing further you can do.
That means they've done all the stents that they have done, all the bypass they've done.
Multiple medications.
And all the medications they're on.
Okay.
Statins and everything.
Yes.
And now, so they have no more conventional medicine option left. And they went down to the diet.
To the diet.
Eating the right food.
Here's another question though. Hey doc, it's just 3 weeks that you already have this result. But will this be sustainable? I mean, if it just gives me temporary perfusion or restoration of blood flow, then later on, a month or two later, it will come back again. The clot will come back again. No more. I won't go for a vegetarian diet. I'll just eat all the steak I want.
And then quickly die.
Then that's it. I mean, there's no hope anyway, right? So, but after 3 years, so after 36 months of a patient having this diet, this is the angiography of the patient. So this angiography is the complete reversal of the clot.
It's a reversal of the clot. Doc, I want to be clear that the study says that it is going to a plant-based whole food diet. So it's all the benefits of the fiber and phytonutrients, that produces this. Now, can I tie it back to your example of the eggs, right? You eat a lot of eggs, but you took a supplement like a microalgae, and it neutralized the negative effects of eating a lot of eggs. What if we took the microalgae and then ate less eggs?
Yeah, that would be great.
Right? Then, because if you eat your eggs and take the microalgae, Meron neutral.
Yes.
It doesn't get worse. But if you take a microalgae and eat less eggs, then you will see improvement. All right.
So yeah, that would be a great balancing out, no? Because as humans, we really love to eat.
You still want to eat something. So
I mean, it's very difficult to tell a person who doesn't want to change to, please, for the love of God, change now. You need to change. I mean, nothing is gonna work, or nothing, no matter who tells this person that you have to change your diet. If the person doesn't want to, you cannot do anything about it. Okay, so
this study about change is really true. Your husband can nag you, your wife can nag you. All right, so it's really difficult. Actually, so to change your diet is understandably very challenging, but I can help you with that. But you have to pay me a good amount of money. I'll do some NLP on you, right? Then we can almost instantly remove that. Okay, but it's not an easy process. But anyway, back to the real topic, as what Dr. Jansen said. You supplement, right? Because you're living in a country where it's very difficult to eat healthy. You supplement and then you stop. You eat less unhealthy. Then you will start to move to a healthier trend. And that will give you momentum. And then on top of that, don't stop. Take the supplement and then really start moving as healthy living as you can. And though it may be difficult, it is still possible. Dr. Jansen is vegan, all right, in Philippines. Okay, I am 3/4 vegan in Philippines, but together with supplementation, that can really offer you a best of both worlds. Living in a country, sort of eating the foods that you still like, but in lesser quantities. Supplements so that you don't suffer the heart attack that comes with your country's lifestyle. And I think that, guys, is how we beat heart disease. Practical way, not idealistic, a very practical way. Get momentum first, and then slowly, bit by bit, as you enjoy a healthier heart, start to change your lifestyle bit by bit. Now I can see questions are coming in. So without further ado, let's move to the Ask Me Anything segment.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jen. You are watching another episode of Simply Health webinar brought to you by Simply Nature. I hope you were enlightened in our topic for tonight, entitled Beat Heart Disease, a webinar on heart health. So we are now in the what we call AMA or Ask Me Anything portion to answer all your questions for tonight. Are you ready for some heart-to-heart talk with our lifestyle medicine specialist, Dr. Jansen Calalan, and our PFARS expert from Singapore, Mr. Shyan. Good evening, Doc Jansen. Good evening, Sir Shyan.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Doc.
Hello, Shyan. Hello, Jen. Hello, everyone.
To our regular viewers, isn't it nice? I know some of you may be missing Sheila, but it's so good to see that we have new faces. Jen is also, is hosting us tonight, so it's really good to. Jen, this is your second time hosting.
Yes, sir.
Yes, all right. So you have to live up to big shoes from Sheila. And to our regular viewers, don't worry. The team is just getting bigger because we are excited. We're expanding to support you guys better. So the team is growing bigger. You see Sheila again. She's still with us. She's now busy with other programs that are coming. We have some very exciting news to share with you all towards the end of the month. But right now, we are just preparing for it. All right. So a big hello to all our regular viewers. Yeah. So let's go on to the questions. And Doc, it's good to see you again. I was not here last week. Or the week before, yeah.
Good to have you back.
And next week, I'll be in Taiwan. So, yeah, that'll be another issue. Yeah. Okay, Jen.
Okay, so first question coming from Duramdes. How about seafood? Is it okay?
What's the question again?
What's the question again?
Sorry. How about seafood? Is it okay?
Seafoods.
Seafood, is it okay for what? Well, in general, seafood is not okay for anything. It's just okay for your taste buds. Okay, so seafoods are one of the foods that have very high cholesterol levels and very high uric acid. No? And the seafoods usually are very notorious in triggering allergies. So, yeah.
Yeah, Doc, in fact, okay, there's this idea, Doc, that fish is the safe meat. How accurate is that?
Well, there's no safe...
Okay, I know what you're going to say, so let me rephrase my question. They say fish is the safer meat, or among all the different meats is the safest. Would you like to comment on that? Fish.
Well, fish, it's true, no, that fish is relatively
healthier,
or not healthier, or relatively
less
harmful for your health. So, but it's one of the reasons is because when you look at the different diseases that certain foods cause, fish causes the least amount of diseases, okay, compared to your red meat, your chicken, your processed foods, okay. So for fish, the thing that I don't like about fish is that it's still animal protein. So for cancer, it's still a no-no, because if you eat fish, that still increases the substance that we call IGF-1. So IGF-1 is a protein inside our body that promotes growth. Basically, it promotes growth of everything. Okay? So, if you have a tumor and your IGF-1 increase, that IGF-1 will promote the growth of that tumor. And fish causes an increase of IGF-1. Okay? However, the degree of increase, okay, is a lot milder for fish compared to other animal food products. Okay, so that's why fish is safer. Okay. Another good thing about fish when it comes to our topic tonight is that fish consumption for cardiovascular diseases is actually protective. Okay? It's because of the omega-3 fatty acids in fish. However, that is fish consumption in moderate amounts. So it's like, a matchbox size of fish every day. So it's pretty small. So I mean, imagine the fish, right? You just eat half of it. That's it. Okay, that's it for the day. So it's actually protective. So that is also where the Mediterranean diet comes from, because the Mediterranean diet, although it is a plant predominant type of a dietary pattern, so it does contain a little bit amounts of animal food products like your yogurt, your fish, no? So it's Mediterranean diet, but it's plant predominant. It's still majority plant food. So fish is just a small amount. Okay, so with that, fish can be healthier or less harmful, no? But again, if you are consuming fish a lot, please tone down, okay? Because eventually, fish is actually very can be acidic, okay? Acid forming inside our body. So if it's so, it can also harm your kidneys. So please be careful. And if you have CKD, okay, fish consumption will make your kidneys or will produce inflammation that can harm your kidney function. Okay, so please be careful. Okay.
You mentioned, Doc, for CKD, fish will actually cause an inflammation in the kidneys. What about like chicken? So is fish still like better than chicken for CKD patients, or fish is actually worse than chicken for CKD patients?
Both have harms. Okay? Chicken is the #1 source of our sodium intake nowadays. Chicken, it's not processed food. Okay, it's whole chicken.
Oh, the chicken itself.
Yes, the chicken itself.
It's not because we season and fry it.
No.
Okay.
The reason why is because they pump saline to the chicken to attempt to disinfect the chicken. Okay, because of salmonella. Now, aside from the high sodium content of chicken is still animal protein.
Yes,
so the animal protein can still harm your kidneys, or make your or cause a decline in your kidney function. Okay, fish is almost the same thing because it's still animal protein, but the difference is the amount of sodium found in fish is way lower compared to chicken.
I also noticed Bill Lagman was saying it's how you cook the fish, and I think everybody would agree that when you cook fish, steaming it is the best way to cook fish. Not to deep fry it, not to put a charcoal grill because that's carcinogenic, the smoke. So really, to steam fish is very the best way.
It's the healthier way. So it's a given. No, the cooking method that we use has a big influence on our health as well. Okay, because if you char, okay, if you grill, that produces carcinogens. If you fry, that produces carcinogens. No, if you steam, that would be the best way to cook fish. However, if you eat steamed fish, compared to no steamed fish, the steamed fish will still harm your body. Okay.
So because in the end of the day, taking meats is harmful, especially to cancer patients. So for cancer patients, please take note. Doc, I have my Lola, Dr. NG, and she always shared, even when, number one, she is like you, she's a 7-day Adventist, so she really tries to eat vegetables only. She really doesn't eat meat. Her only exception is actually fish, but she's very picky about fish. She does not eat bangus, she does not eat tilapia, because both of these fishes are, I guess when you buy in the marketplace, they're all cultured or grown in farms. She only eats like wild fish like garupas and the more expensive ones actually. So every time I bring Lola out for dinner, it has to be like a Chinese restaurant where you can get those deep sea fish. What's your comments about that?
The body does not distinguish.
No, she does that because she says that the farm fish super high in antibiotics and growth hormones. So she said the ocean catch fish is a lot less safer. Contaminated because of that.
Safer. Farm fishes are really can be harmful. Okay, because they are laden with antibiotics. Well, they are under a very stressful environment because they are farmed. No? a lot of fishes are packed into a small
Yes.
pen. No?
Yeah, and if one gets sick,
one
they
gets
all,
sick,
and
one
so the
gets
farmer
sick.
will lose a lot of money,
Yeah.
but because of that, they pump lots and lots of
Yes.
antibiotics into the fish.
So yeah, and of course they're just in one fish pen, right? So if one defecates, the other fish eats that thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So much information, but yeah, farm fish is more harmful. So if I were you, I would pick
The fishing one, the one that they fish from the ocean.
Yes.
But then now we have the issue. Our oceans are polluted.
Yes, that's the thing, heavy metals. So that's another problem. And we have microplastics already that's found in the open ocean. So when the fishermen catch by batch, okay, when they go and fish, then they open up the fishes, then look at the microscope, then they can see microplastics in them. So that's the thing.
Yeah, so Doc, is almost like very soon everything we eat is harmful. Doc, here's another question. I've been very careful because after the pandemic, I used to love sashimi a lot. But during the pandemic, you notice that the restaurants, less people. So when you come to eating raw foods, you always want to make sure you go to a restaurant that is packed, because it means that
it's fresh.
It's fresh because they don't have leftovers, right, from yesterday. Now I'm very careful. Is it harmful, or what are the risks? I mean, on the top of your head, I know this may not be something you actually specifically look at, but is there any risk in eating like raw fish, like sashimi?
Yeah, parasites. You can get worms. You can get.
We have seen videos where people eat sashimi, then they have worms in their brain. Is that real or fake?
That's real. That is very real. We study that in med school.
Oh!
Yes, we study that in med school.
But it's rare. But if it happens to you, it's 100% you,
Yeah, I mean, it can happen.
Worms in your brain?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, that's a huge motivation not to eat my favorite.
You can even see the eggs of the worm on the fish's flesh because they're microscopic.
Microscopic, so you won't know. So eating wasabi with it will not.
It won't kill. So yeah, I am too a fan of eating sashimi before. So now I don't eat them anymore because of number one, really unhealthy. But the parasites. I was kind of grossed out when I studied medicine. This thing can happen. No, I don't want to eat it.
Yes.
I don't want to eat anymore.
And I just want to. I want to encourage everybody. Give you a little bit of information. How many of you out there among our viewers actually love to eat sashimi? Can you just type into the chat right now? Say, I love sashimi. If you are one of those that love Japanese food and you love your sushi and your sashimi, please type in our live chat, that you love sashimi, okay? So that I will tell you the tip about sashimi. If no one likes sashimi, then I won't talk much about it, okay? If you want to know which are the better fish to eat when you eat sashimi, please type in there, all right? Okay. But I'll give one simple one first, okay? When you go to Japan, you don't see salmon sashimi often. And then the most expensive, you go to really, really expensive restaurants where it's like, Doc, can you imagine one piece of sushi, that means just the rice and one piece on top. One piece can be like 1,000 pesos.
Wow, so expensive.
All right, okay, yeah, it's so expensive, okay? For those type of expensive sushi, it is never, ever salmon. It is always some other fish, most commonly tuna. So I just want to let everybody know, because I know in Philippines, people love their sashimi and their sushi. The Japanese don't choose salmon because salmon spoils the fastest. I think it's because it's very fatty.
Yeah, it's fatty.
It's very fatty, it's tasty, but it's the one that gets with parasites and starts spoiling way faster than any other fish. Yeah, Aramis, you like sashimi, so so there's a reason why the Japanese, they laugh at you if you say your favorite sashimi or sushi is salmon, because they don't eat that. They eat tuna. All right. So apparently, among all the fishes, tuna meat is more resistant to spoilage and parasitic infection than compared to salmon. Okay, so that's another reason why. And I know here in Philippines sometimes we want a great deal. Is there a Philippine word for great deal? Noel, I mean like cheap. How do you say? Sulit. Yes, we want a sulit deal. But guys, it's very dangerous to buy sashimi sushi from the petrol station, from 7-Eleven, from Family Mart. You know, these are raw foods. Please don't do that. If you're unlucky, you're gonna get worms in your brain, right? If you are, and the risk of spoilage and all that is it's just very, very high. It's raw food. So go to a nice Japanese restaurant. If it's expensive, then that will cause you to eat less sashimi. But at least the times that you actually eat sashimi, it is safe, all right? And Doc Jansen will tell you eat less sashimi anyway. So might as well just save your money, spend it one shot at a nice, safe place when you really want to eat sashimi and sushi. So again, don't go for the, you know, the cheap places. It's very scary because, and you can't, Doc, you know, I think a lot of people, my uncle is one of those sulit people. So you know what? He goes to the market and buys fresh salmon and then he eats it as sashimi. Okay, guys, the Japanese don't do that. Okay? They don't do, oh yeah, Jen, you're giving me that look like, huh? No. The fish for sashimi to be eaten raw is prepared and stored differently from the fish that is going to be cooked. Okay? So straight away, at the fish market, the fish that are meant for raw consumption, that means you're going to eat it as sashimi or sushi, they are different price and differently stored from the fish that is going to be used in your salmon steak when you fry it or steam it or cook it, right? It's different. So guys, if you don't believe me, just go to maybe a more expensive supermarket. There will actually be special cuts for sashimi. It will be like 3 to 4 times the price of your normal salmon. So again, it's not safe to just go to the fish market and you say, oh, this salmon is fresh, it looks so fresh, right? It just came in this morning. Yeah, you can't do that, okay? Sashimi fish and sushi fish is different from those being used for cooking. All right, I hope that helps those who love fish. Okay, next question. And yeah, Doc, they are seafood. So shellfish is
it's seafood.
Terrible. Okay, shellfish is tasty. I love prawns. I love crabs, but I know they're terrible for my health. Okay, so be very, very careful with that. Eat just a little, maybe on your birthday or celebration day. So like 3 to 4 times a year, and that's it. Okay.
Right. Okay, so.
Where is the question?
Creatinine.
What about creatinine?
What should she do to improve her creatinine? What foods and medication?
Okay, I need to know why your creatinine is elevated to make the proper recommendation. So better to go for a consult because there are a lot of reasons why your creatinine can increase, not just a decline in kidney function.
But Doc, in general, let's say, I guess for creatinine, it will be a patient with a CKD condition. What's your general blanket or advice for CKD patients when it comes to diet and what is the general protocol that will be given to them for medical drugs?
For CKD patients, in general, you have to go on a plant-based diet. So no animal food, no animal proteins, no foods, no source from animals. Okay. Number 2, you will need to have your blood tests done, blood workups, blood pressure, because we have to take a look if you're usually patients who have CKD tend to have very high blood pressure as well. So blood pressure medications. If you have high cholesterol, then medications for cholesterol. If you have diabetes, then of course medication for diabetes as well. What else? Those are just some. There are many others. If your creatinine is so high and you're around stage 4, stage 5 chronic kidney disease. Okay, if your EGFR or your kidney function is less than 15 already, then you would need to have keto analogs as well. Keto analogs are amino acids. Okay. For supplements, you would need, of course, your vitamin D complex, microalgae. That would be a good source of your omega-3. It's also very high in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory nutrients, okay, which will help your kidney function as well. What else? Vitamin D. You also need that. And many others. No, there are a lot. Okay, usually patients who have chronic kidney disease are really very difficult to manage because even the healthier foods, they cannot eat so much because of the potassium. Okay, because plant foods inherently have higher potassium levels than the animal food products. And the danger here is if your potassium level goes up so high, you might have complications with your heart. Okay, so yeah.
Oh, Doc, just in addition with regards to CKD, you know, we have a lot of success using for supplementation, right? If you're trying to look for a natural supplementation for CKD patients, then look no further, PPAR tablets, and of course, if you actually have a CKD condition, you would need our extract. So usually we start with soft gel capsules. Doc, you actually have had quite a number of CKD patients using your protocols which involve PPAR tablets and capsules. Could you share with us what happened to those patients and did it work well for them?
Well, they are faring better than their classmates in dialysis, no? But when it comes to reversing chronic kidney disease, it's really a big help, okay? Because their creatinine is not so high. Even those patients of mine who are on dialysis, they are stronger than their classmates. Okay, so what do I mean by stronger? Less complications. Their quality of life are way better, more energetic. If you look at them, they don't seem to have any sickness at all. So that's what's amazing with my patients who have CKD. Although, of course, when it comes to the question of, okay, can this reverse dialysis or can this make me go on dialysis? So that's still a question that needs to be answered
case to case basis.
Yes. But in the future, probably we might have.
Doc, I personally actually have patients that were on the borderline of going for dialysis. In fact, they were just one more diagnostic test away from going for dialysis. So what happened was the patient actually went on soft gel capsules, and it was a Hail Mary. What I mean by a Hail Mary, it's a chance that they took, right? And what actually happened to this patient was that the creatine levels and all the markers came down, and he did not have to go for dialysis. And this was very fortunate because this was at the start of the pandemic lockdown. And you can imagine if he started dialysis, how inconvenient it was during the initial lockdown. And what he did was buy a 6-month supply of soft gel capsule. And the good news is it's now 2 years. I believe he's not on dialysis. He's avoided dialysis. He was able to reverse or improve his condition such that he never went to dialysis. So these are some of my personal cases. I actually also have patients that were on dialysis, and this is amazing because it's quite shocking to some CKD patients because you've always been told if you go on dialysis, you're going to be on it for life, and your life expectancy is actually cut down by quite a lot the moment you go on dialysis because you're going to live that type of life, right? We actually have patients who were on dialysis that got off dialysis because of the PPAR protocols. Again, let me be very careful about sharing this. I just want to throw the hope out there, but it really varies from case to case basis. It depends on why your kidney failed, and if the failure of your kidney comes from metabolic syndromes, for example, one of the reasons for kidney failure is blood sugar issues, right? Now, if that's the case, then it's possible that we can improve the situation, and maybe to such an extent that for some patients they can actually get off dialysis, and that of course will be great news. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Doc, do you have any patients that are like not something that you will promise all your patients, but at least like, wow, amazing things happen, and gives hope for the rest?
Yeah. There was one patient that was actually a long patient,
Old patient
of mine. This patient of mine had got her kidney was destroyed because of
diabetes
and hypertension. So, but mainly because of diabetes.
Okay.
Now the patient's diabetes is cured already.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more diabetes. But the thing is, kidney still destroyed. However, she's still doing okay on dialysis. Blood pressure is pretty controlled now. Her blood pressure is, I think, it's less than 140 over 90.
Wow, okay, that's
really
good.
A very difficult
thing to achieve.
A very difficult thing to achieve for CKD patients. Okay, she's not. Her hypertension drugs are not even maxed out.
Wow, she's not even taking the full dosage.
Yeah. So here's the thing, no. For patients who are very wary or who have, have elevated creatinines and thinking, hey, would I undergo dialysis later on? I don't want to go on dialysis. What can I do to reverse my situation? What do I need to do to prevent me from getting worse? Okay. So in general, we have 5 stages of CKD. Okay, so stages 1 to 5. 5 is end-stage renal disease. So end-stage renal disease is the time that you have to go on dialysis already. Okay, that is very life-threatening. All right. So if you are on the first 3 stages, this is the time that you have to go all out in trying to reverse it. Okay, because once you are already on the 4th and the 5th stage, it's very, very difficult to go back up. Okay, to reverse the CKD. So it's like if you are deep in the well, it's very difficult to climb back up because of how deep you are inside already. Okay, so the earlier it is, the earlier that you got diagnosed, this is the time that you have to go all out. Okay, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Doc, in that case, I think at some point early this quarter, maybe we can do a special program on CKD, because I think it's, I went back to Singapore and suddenly I realized this kidney disease is something that is becoming more and more prominent. Yeah. Many years ago it was diabetes. Diabetes is so common, became common to the population. Now, kidney diseases are becoming common.
Yes. I actually read one article. Singapore has, I think, in Southeast Asia, I think Singapore is the 3rd country from the top which have a rising piece of patients who are developing CKD.
All right, and it's very expensive. CKD, the moment you're on dialysis, is very expensive, very, very expensive. Doc, I really am very intrigued, and I would really love, right, I think you see Bill Lagam is already asking this question, because I'm also intrigued. Because you said a very strong recommendation that we should go all out to try and reverse it while it's in stage 1 to 3, because in a way it's still doable.
Yes.
The moment you hit stage 4 and 5, so I think on top of everybody's mind is, just in case we get CKD, what is the all-out thing that we should do to reverse it?
Okay.
But let's not discuss it today. Let's not discuss it today.
It'll be lengthy.
Yeah, but I think straight away, I think this is something of interest to our viewers, such that some of them are already commenting that they would like to know how to all out fight and try and reverse that condition. And to all the viewers today, I just want to let you know, any disease that has got to do with these 2 organs, liver and kidney, they don't kill you immediately, but they make your life miserable. A heart attack kills you in actually, a heart attack is a good way to die. Literally, I don't know, Doc, if you would agree with me.
It would be
Fast.
No, I think you haven't seen.
Oh, maybe I haven't seen
you
bad
haven't seen,
conditions. Okay, okay, but you know, but liver and kidney failure is a long,
it's
painful
very
way
long,
to
yes.
die, and during that time, you cannot eat this, you cannot do that. It makes your life miserable, and you feel miserable.
That I'll agree. I agree.
Yeah.
But I think it would be better to say it would be the best to die in your sleep.
Yes, that's
And
ideal.
the diseases that can do that to you on the get-go without you being diagnosed of anything is heart attack.
Yeah. That's why under perfect conditions, heart attack is like a fast way to go with less pain. Yeah. All right. Next question. Maybe do we have a heart question? Because today we are talking about hearts.
Yes, actually we have a heart question from Sir Ronald Pulgado. What are the causes of chest pain and how does it happen? Sometimes I also have difficulty breathing.
Oh, that's good questions.
So I'll go all out here. So follow me. Try to follow me here. Okay. First, where in your chest is located? Where is the pain located in your chest? Okay, is it somewhere here in the middle, left, right, somewhere here, just above your stomach? Okay, because the location of the pain determines what organ system are we looking at. Okay, is the pain sharp? Is it like a piercing pain? Is it like a pain that is some hollow block that is put on your
pressing,
chest? Yeah,
like
pressing on your chest. Is it chest discomfort? Okay, so is the pain radiating? Meaning, is the pain coming from your left side?
And then
okay?
it travels.
It travels to your arm here. Okay, so depending on the character of the pain. Okay,
these are good questions.
The doctor can deduce which the differential diagnosis. What are the diagnoses that the doctor has to consider, and from there, we will request for the appropriate laboratory test. Okay, so I'll give you one very common, a very common disease that I encounter. Okay, actually, last night I just had a call from a very good friend of mine about his wife. Okay, if you're watching now, I'm sure you know who you are. Okay, so this friend of mine called me up. Hey, my wife is feeling an excruciating pain,
means extreme pain
on the left.
On the left.
On the left, just below her breast, on the side. So I asked him, okay, can you ask your wife to point, to use her finger to point where the pain is, with just using her finger. So she pointed. Now, you, my friend, the husband, can you feel where she's pointing? Is it on the ribs? And if you press further, is it painful? So yes to both questions, no? Now, the next question is, if your wife inhales
takes a deep breath.
Yeah, takes a deep breath, very, very deep breath. Is the pain worse? The answer is yes. Okay? So this is the diagnosis for that is costochondritis. Okay? It doesn't have anything to do with the heart.
Wow.
Okay? Later I'll give you another example on what a heart attack feels like. Okay? So, costochondritis means the ribs are inflamed. Okay? So, since the ribs are inflamed, when you breathe deeply, the ribs will what? Expand, right? If it expands, then the cartilages along the rib cage will have some manipulation. And since it's inflamed, it will
hurt.
Just imagine you have a sprained ankle
and you still move it.
And you're trying to walk and you're trying to move your ankle. It's painful, right? So that's exactly what's happening. Now, for costochondritis, since it's musculoskeletal, it's on the ribs, it's on the muscles, sore. Okay, so you can pinpoint where it is. All right. Now, for heart attacks, different.
Okay, this is very important. So, Doc, before you continue, I think for clarity, please share with us, because all of us are afraid of heart attack because we know we might die. And we will maybe even mistake a heartburn for a heart attack or indigestion for a heart attack. So can you tell us very, very clearly what is a heart attack? How does it feel like?
Okay, so a heart attack, okay, this is what happens to a patient having a heart attack, okay? So a heart attack is when a blood vessel supplying a specific part of the heart gets blocked. So if it gets blocked, the blood supply, the part of the heart that is being supplied by that blood vessel or by that artery dies. Why? No more oxygen and nutrients is coming into that part of the heart, and the heart needs to pump. Okay? So imagine, no? Your muscles, you're moving your muscles, you're lifting weights. What happens? The more you lift weights, the more sore it becomes. Now imagine, your muscles, the soreness will disappear, right? Because it has a good blood supply. So the blood takes away the lactic acid. Okay? Supplies oxygen to the muscle. So your muscle soreness will recover. But in the heart, it's different because the blood vessel supplying that part is blocked. So lactic acid accumulates. No oxygen, no nutrient is coming in. What happens to the heart muscle? It will die. Okay? So it will become sore first. So the soreness will manifest as heaviness on the chest.
Heaviness on the chest.
It cannot be pinpointed by one finger.
Oh, okay. So this is the one. If you're having a heart attack, the pain cannot be isolated to a single point.
Yes. It's heaviness. It's like fathers. Okay, you know how it feels when your kid sits on your chest. Okay, so that's how it feels.
Okay.
It's just that it's really quite heavy.
So it won't be sharp pain.
It's not sharp. It's not sharp at all.
But that's true. My mom suspected of heart attack quite a few times, and she was always talking about a sharp pain. And every time it turns into be like a myoinfarction or something like that. just not heart attack.
Yes, not heart attack. Okay, so it's the specific description is chest heaviness. Okay, and that chest heaviness radiates to where? To your left arm. Okay? Why does it radiate to your left arm? Because the nerve that innervates your heart is the same nerve that innervates the left side of this.
So what will you feel? Sharp pain or numbness or what?
No, it's the heaviness is radiating here.
Oh,
so you will feel heaviness on your left arm as well.
Okay.
And heaviness over your jaw.
Left side as well. Everything on the left side.
Left side. However, for the jaw, I have encountered patients manifesting jaw discomfort on both sides.
Okay.
But the left side of the jaw is always present.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
So, also another one. Now this one, be very listen to me carefully. Okay. You can also feel an epigastric discomfort. Epigastric is the area of your stomach where, when you feel you have a bony part here in your chest, right? Then trace that below.
Okay.
You have a depression.
Yes.
Okay, soft part. So that is your epigastric area.
Okay.
So heart attack can also manifest as epigastric pain.
Oh.
So it can manifest as a hyperacidity.
Also, you think you're having hyperacidity,
Yes,
like a reflux.
Yeah, like a reflux.
But actually, you're having a heart attack.
Yeah. But the difference is heart attack doesn't have heartburn. Hyperacidity does have heartburn.
Heartburn means the burning
is,
sensation in your chest.
It's really warm here, and
Okay.
and you can taste a sour or acidic taste coming from that's actually the stomach acids. Okay, so that is the commonality of
So
the
Doc,
symptoms.
if you don't have the numbing sensation or the radiating heaviness to your left arm, does it mean that you don't have a heart attack? Or is it possible to have a heart attack without the left arm feeling the radiating?
It's possible.
It's possible. It's still possible.
We have encountered a patient before, no? This patient came into the ER manifesting just epigastric discomfort. So we all thought that this patient is just manifesting acid reflux. Then we sent the patient home. The patient came back, actually. Now the patient is complaining already with chest discomfort. So now we thought, okay, this is heart attack. Okay. So it's just that it was just too early on the manifestation. So in the ER, it is a standard operating procedure. If a patient comes in, okay, and the patient fits the profile, okay, 40s, 50s, male, with just these information, immediately an ECG has to be done. Because with an ECG, even with just a mild epigastric pain, a beginning heart attack, it can already manifest as abnormalities in the ECG. Then immediately we can manage the patient.
Okay, so I think this is a good one. I remember watching Big Bang Theory. Howard was trying to fake a heart attack, and he said that he was holding his right arm, and his wife said, "You dumbass." Sorry, pardon my language, right? Yeah, it's the left arm, and he's like, "Okay, this arm." All right, so heart attack, it'll be heaviness in your chest, not sharp pain, but strong, heavy pushing down your head. It goes, that numbness radiates into your left arm. Left arm.
That is the sign, okay? There are other things that a doctor has to consider, okay? And if you are, another thing, another tip, another thing that usually patients manifest, easy fatigability. When they walk, they cannot walk so far. A few meters, then they get tired easily. Then they are sweating. That's also a manifestation of a heart attack.
I think based on the original question about the sir about chest pains and everything, I think again there are two questions in your mind. Number one is, was I having a heart attack? So now you know you weren't. But there's another question. Am I developing in such a way that I'm going to have a heart attack soon? How do you know that you are on track to having a heart attack, that your heart is having problems?
Then you have to have blood works. Then blood pressure, you have to get your blood pressure checked. If your blood pressure is always above 140/90, then you are hypertensive. That's one risk factor. Another one is if you have very high cholesterol levels. So that's another one. If you are a smoker, if you're diabetic, or if you are overweight or obese, then those are risk factors for developing heart attack. Just like what we showed a while ago in our webinar.
All right. So again, I just want to highlight to everybody, because not everybody will know. Some of us, the older ones, really are very. We don't like to go and do blood diagnostics. We don't like needles. We don't like people to poke in and draw blood. Okay.
Some do.
Yeah, some do. Okay. But one thing I want to assure is, when I came to Philippines, I'm very glad. Oh my goodness, just to do a simple blood works is really, really cheap. It's like one McDonald's meal, and you can do your blood work.
Yeah.
So, and if you're gonna kill yourself with fast food, I'm sure you can spare one just to make sure that your blood is good. So I just want to let everybody know, cost-wise, it's not prohibitive at all. And now there are many diagnostic chains all around the nation. Even in the province, you can easily go and do a CBC. So if you belong to get that category, if you're afraid that you're at risk for heart attacks, please go and do it. And then if you find that your CBC results are not ideal, please have a consult with Dr. Jansen, because he's gonna be able to help you reduce all your blood works to healthy normal levels without heavy dependence on drugs. And if you're on maintenance medicine now, it's a good idea to get off maintenance medicine. Not immediately, okay, not tomorrow, but work your way there gradually. A month, 2 months, 3 months, and you're off your maintenance meds. So that when an emergency comes, the drugs can still work. Something about taking drugs all the time is your body gets used to them. If you're always taking antibiotics, you have to use the more and more expensive ones. So it's always a good idea to be able to treat yourself and get off all these maintenance, so that when something happens, these drugs can be used and they will be effective, because your body is still sensitive to them.
Yes, so for those of you who wish to have a consult with Dr. Jansen Calalan, the link to schedule an appointment is in the description box or comment section below. Our pretty healthcare specialist Beth will reach out to you shortly. Or you can just type no in the comment section how to consult.
Yeah, I see thank you, Jen. And I see a remark by Miss Monina. She says that does high potassium in a CKD patient cause heart attack? And she was mentioning her own personal experience, symptoms of heart attack, and the potassium level is high.
Yeah, the only time that your potassium will have problems with your heart is when your potassium is already at 7. Okay, very specific. So it won't even cause any problems when it's at 5, 5.5, 5.7, probably near 6, no? When the potassium levels reaches 7, that's the only time. So, Monina, I need to see you and check out your potassium levels. Please go for a follow-up consult. Yeah, she's actually my patient.
Oh, she's your patient. Okay. Good.
Yeah. So,
Doc, can I just ask, on top of your head, which are some of the foods that are very high in potassium that can accidentally, a patient be careless, like they go to Vikings buffet and eat too much of something, and then suddenly their potassium spikes up and they could be at risk of a heart attack because they're CKD patient?
That would be fruits.
Fruits?
That would be fruits.
Any specific fruits, or because then they will be afraid of taking all fruits?
It would be, fruits in general. Yeah. So however, this is the thing though with plant foods. Although the plant foods have higher potassium levels compared to the other foods, no. When we it's not bioavailable, so meaning the potassium
doesn't get absorbed.
It's very difficult to absorb. That's the thing. That's why we still encourage patients to eat a plant-based diet even when they have CKD, because the potassium level, the potassium of plant foods is not bioavailable or not easily absorbed. Okay, and you need the antioxidants and the nutrients anyway, and it has fibers that can help you move your bowel. Okay, and there's no other food that you can eat. Okay, so that's the thing. And another one is juicing. So Monina mentioned buko
juice.
Yes, buko juice is actually very high in potassium, and not just buko juice, no, any juice for that matter. Because what you're doing is you're trying to get the liquid, the extract only, and you're removing the fiber. It's the fiber that makes the potassium not bioavailable or very hard to absorb. So if you remove the fiber, you just drink the liquid, really very high in potassium. So that can be one of the reasons for a spike in potassium. And not only that, medications, there are certain medications that is taken by CKD patients that can also have a side effect of getting high in potassium. Okay, so to really pinpoint, I really encourage not just Monina, but everybody else who wants to have a good control or good grasp of their CKD situation, please go for a consult so I can help you much better. Okay, but Monina, please, I'll have Beth message you probably tomorrow. Okay, so
yeah. I was just talking to Doc Jansen and to all our viewers, and to Doc Jansen's patient Monina, I was just sharing with him, that I don't know about Filipino patients, but for Singapore patients, we will be amazed and very appreciative if our medical doctor, number one, can first remember who you are, okay? Because they see so many patients every day. It's really nice that your doctor actually remembers you. And two, when they remember you, that they actually also remember your condition. Right? Is the doctor can remember your face, but they may not remember your medical condition because they see so many people. Right? So I think it's really nice. What I do like with what I want as a patient when I go to meet a doctor is I would actually like my doctor to follow up with me. So I don't know about you, our viewers out there. I want to encourage you that when you select doctors where their clinic will actually call you up and said, "Mom, last week you came in for your blood sugar. How is it doing this week?" In all my life, very few doctors and their clinics ever do that. So if ever you find a clinic where the secretary or the nurse actually calls you up, I don't think that they're trying to get you to buy more drugs or something like that. Okay, that's not the case. I think for me, it's so important that someone actually follows up on my medical condition. Many times as a patient, the doctor doesn't, thank you, Monina, for appreciating Doc Jansen, because it's really amazing that I mean, if you're a parent, your son or daughter married and has moved out of the house, you will know that they don't care because they don't call. Right? It's so nice when your married son or daughter calls you and says, "Mommy, how are you? I've not spoken to you for a week." I actually really appreciate healthcare services where they actually call and follow up with me rather than wait for me to follow up with the doctors. Because there's another thing. Naturally, I would not want to go and see my doctor again. I think there's this natural thing. We try not to see doctors, but that's not good for us. So it's nice that doctors call us or their clinic call us, and then it sort of makes us not run away from our medical problem and makes us look at it and talk again. So again, to all the viewers out there, those of you who are looking for a good doctor, I would like to encourage you that one of the things that you should prepare yourself, or what you should look for, is a doctor whose clinic bothers to call you up and ask you, how are you feeling this week? Don't feel bothered by that. Instead, look for that as a positive sign that your doctor and his clinic remembers you and wants to know how you are doing. And I think that's so important for our health. Yeah. Jen, next question, please.
Yes, so the next question is sent to us privately from Hanisa. So, what's the link between smoking and heart disease?
Smoking and heart disease. I think strong link, right?
Yes, smoke or smoking.
Even secondhand smoke.
Yes, even secondhand smoke. Even the smoke that's coming from that very frequent barbecue that you're having.
Oh, wow. Really? Even barbecue smoke? I thought only nicotine cigarettes.
Smoke can constrict the blood vessel. Constrict means the diameter narrow the blood vessel. So when the blood vessel narrows down, well, guess what will happen?
Heart attack.
Blood flow will decrease.
Yeah.
When blood flow decrease, less oxygen, less nutrients, heart attack will happen. Okay? And aside from that, there are a lot of chemicals found in tobacco, e-cigarettes, the fragrant smoke the aroma
of barbecue.
Of the barbecue. Okay, there are a lot of substances there which can promote the formation of plaques. Okay, they will not just be carcinogenic, no. So that's the direct relationship. How smoke can cause heart attack.
Doc, I'm going to ask on behalf of Jen because I know her husband works in the food and beverage industry. From conventional medicine, is there anything to advise a person who, by occupation, no choice, what can they do?
Put on a mask.
Put on a mask.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, from TCM, there's actually standard concoctions that are meant to strengthen lungs. One of them is actually very, very tasty. You boil dried mandarins with Chinese almonds, different from your Western almonds. It's not the ones that you buy in packets of nuts.
That's delicious.
Yes. Okay, and there's another one. Pear.
Yeah.
Chinese pear. You boil that. That's also good for the lung. Okay, so there are some. These are actually delicious.
I mean, that's a very good tip, no? I mean, you're going to drink anyway. So
might as well drink some things that helps to clear mucus from your lungs.
And if you want to drink something sweet, I guess it's sweet, right?
Yeah, it is sweet because mandarin orange.
So I mean, drink something sweet that is healthy for you. Not drink something sweet like soft drinks that can bring harm. I mean,
you know what? I mean, those of you who are interested in this drink, maybe Simply Nature should bring it in as a prepackaged product. But I buy when we go to Singapore. We actually buy packets of this. It comes in packets, already prescribed with the almonds, and you just pour the whole thing into a pot of water and you boil it, and it comes out to be a very sweet, very nice, fragrant stuff. And you just take it it's like dog, where you say, eat bananas to keep your bowels moving. So you take it more on a regular basis. Not when your lungs are already has a disease, right? It's more like a general maintenance thing, and then it actually tastes good. So all right.
Okay, next question coming from YouTube from Sir Mark Jonel Vermilio. how can doctors tell how long the patient will last? What are the symptoms?
Oh, very difficult.
For heart attack, you mean? Or for heart issues?
I don't know who or what doctor does that, but usually in the actual healthcare, the real life healthcare setting, when doctors say that you have X amount of months left to live, we are coming from a statistical point of view. Okay, it's very difficult to
predict
a number of time, how much time a patient has. If the patient, let's say for example, has cancer, chronic disease, for that matter, and it's clearly what the patient is having is not an emergency. I mean, the patient is sick, ill, clearly, but the patient is still living. Okay, so very difficult to have that period of time, how many months you have left, how many years you have left, because more often than not, the doctors are wrong. Okay, sometimes patients can go away sooner or later. Okay, only God knows, right? But it's when a doctor judges the patient, okay, the patient is dying, right? This is when the patient, when we see the patient, okay, patient is excruciating pain, patient is number one, excruciating pain. Number two, unresponsive. Number three, not breathing, no pulse, then patient might die in the next few minutes. So that's how we gauge. So in an emergency setting, so let's say for example, you're out there walking, somebody in front of you collapses. What are the few steps that you need to assess, to start CPR probably, So what we do is CBA, okay, so ABC in the reverse way, okay. Circulation. First, feel the pulse of the patient. Does the patient have any pulse? If the patient does not have pulse, begin CPR immediately, okay. Then no. Call for help immediately, then begin CPR, okay. If you're alone, call for an ambulance first. Once the hospital have answered, then you begin CPR immediately. Okay. Now, next is patient has pulse. Is the patient breathing? Okay, letter B. Is the patient breathing? If the patient is not breathing, then immediately again call for help. Then begin CPR. Okay. Next is airway. Is anything in the airway stuck? Okay, so patient has pulse. Patient is breathing but gasping for air. Okay. Probably there's something obstructing the airway. Or if the patient is not breathing, take a look. Probably there's something obstructing the airway of the patient, especially for kids. Okay, if you can extract it, if you can reach it, then try to reach for it. If not, then again, call for help. Okay, the patient needs to be, some procedure needs to be done immediately on the patient. Okay, and don't forget to begin CPR immediately. So those are the CBA, ABCs of initiating CPR. So the signs. So usually it's the pulse. If the patient doesn't have a pulse, the patient will die in the next few minutes. Okay?
So I think what's to answer the original viewer's question is Dr. Jansen's basically saying the only time a doctor can accurately tell you that the patient has so much time to live is in a critical condition, because it is clear within the next few moments, if nothing is done, we're going to lose the patient.
Yes.
Now the other times the doctor says you have 1 week, you have few days, you have how many months, all these is actually, things can change. All right, but so they are taken with a grain of salt. As a man of faith, I always would like to tell everybody, when your doctor tells you only have 3 months to live, you thank your doctor, and then you tell yourself, and if you want, you can tell your doctor, Doc, thank you for your prognosis, thank you for your services, thank you for what you've shared with me, but the person who holds how much time I have left is my Lord Jesus Christ, and let me consult with him before I agree with your 3 months that you've given me. Yeah. All right, so that's how I would do it. All right, and I've seen so many miracles And not only miracles, but every doctor specializes in certain protocols. So if they are not aware of of a procedure, then they think that your road has ended. But that's why it's always amazing when you go to, let's say, a very old and experienced doctors. And this is the time where the doctor, your case may be very rare, but the doctor has seen how this could be treated before. And when other doctors are clueless about how to treat you, this doctor might actually know how to. So what is a terminal or death sentence suddenly becomes, it's possible. Okay, so Doc, there's a Singapore cancer patient that we are both seeing. Yeah. The cancer patient actually told me, I'm the first person to talk to the patient, that he's ready to die.
Yeah.
He's ready to die and he just wants to live with less pain. So I took all his diagnostics to show Doc Jansen. I said, Doc, seems like has hope, right? Doc Jansen looked at it and said, yeah, the patient could make it. But the patient was ready to die.
Yes.
So this is what I told the patient. Okay, I know you said that you're ready to die, but I'm going to give you what you want, right? We're going to give you a protocol that's going to make your life stronger and help less painful. But at the same time, this very same protocol is also going to improve your condition. Can we agree that if your condition improves, you would maybe consider to fight the cancer? Because me and Dr. Jansen actually believe that you can win this fight. So that's just one example. All right. I see a question that I think needs to be answered from Yema Zeppel. How can atherosclerosis be treated? Okay. I want to share a story first, and then I let Dr. Jansen take it from there. I remember once I was doing a lecture to doctors. Yeah. So I was doing a lecture to doctors because I specialize in PPARs, right? And I was just sharing with one doctor, we can reverse atherosclerosis. His face turned white, as in like, oh, how can you say that terrible thing? How can you say that? And I understood why, because to a cardiologist, and he was actually a heart specialist. He's not a heart surgeon, he's a heart specialist, right? To him, that sounds so scary because they have this fear that when you reverse atherosclerosis, part of the blockage will break off, travel through the blood vessel, and give you an aneurysm, give you a stroke. So to him, to reverse atherosclerosis is a dangerous concept, but to me, I think our body, if you ever study anatomy and physiology, you will realize how amazingly designed our body is. And I remember in my first anatomy and physiology class, right, the doctor said, what's the human body? If there's one word to describe the human body, what would it be? Homeostasis. The body regulates to go back into balance. So for sure, if your body can build up plaque, which is atherosclerosis, for sure the body has mechanism to reverse it as well.
Yes.
And now I leave it to Dr. Jansen.
Yes, of course you can reverse. Come on, we have medications to lyse or to dissolve the clots. When you have a stroke or you have a heart attack, the hospitals, and it's really very, very early on, you get admitted to the ER immediately. Doctors have medication to lyse it, to restore blood flow. Okay? Now, if you have a long-standing atherosclerosis and it's so thick already, okay, there's another way. So, the doctors won't be able to use that medication because it risks you bleeding out. Okay. Now, how can you reverse for those people who have long-standing blockages in their blood vessels? 2 techniques. Okay.
Wow, this is very good. 2 techniques to reverse atherosclerosis.
Plant-based diet, exercise. That's it. That's all you need. There are no modern procedures or techniques or medication to reverse atherosclerosis.
So your stents, your bypasses, they are temporary fixes.
They are temporary fixes. Okay, these procedures are meant to save lives.
Okay?
For emergencies.
For emergencies. Okay? That is the benefit. However, will it prevent you from dying of that blood clot? No. Okay? Because the same repair can have an accumulation of atherosclerosis. Again,
That means your stent can be clogged up.
Yes, the same repair can be clogged up again. Okay? So the solution is really not these procedures. It's the food, it's how you live. It's a lifestyle disease. Solution is lifestyle as well. Okay?
And not only that, Doc, PIPA protocols can really speed up. And the thing about PIPA protocols, it is lifestyle. It is food-based. The extracts are food-based.
Yes.
It can really speed up the process.
Yes. It's because the PPAR agonists are or acts on the
Root cause.
the root cause, no, or the specific reason why the atherosclerosis is forming in the first place, which is damage of your blood vessels, long-term damage of your blood vessels. So PPAR agonists can repair that. Number 2, inflammation.
Wow, yeah, inflammation.
The source of PPAR agonists of Simply Nature is from microalgae. Microalgae have very, very strong anti-inflammatory properties. Okay, that's one. Another one is the microalgae can lower cholesterol levels. Okay.
That is the build-up.
Those are the 3 very important mechanisms to approach reversing atherosclerosis. Okay, so if you are someone who's worrying about atherosclerosis or blockages in your heart, or you know someone, please send them to us so we can help them. Okay?
And I want to share a personal experience with a patient. Okay, so many times I speak and lecture to doctors. So, but there are times where I actually have personal patients that interact with me. So one of them is actually I call her Tita Bibian. So she's a really nice lady, and she was scheduled to have angioplasty. All right. So for those of you who don't know what angioplasty is when you have atherosclerosis and it's closing up, and they're gonna send a balloon into your veins to sort of like enlarge it again, open it, stretch it out again, right? It's like putting a balloon inside you, then blow up the balloon so that you become bigger, right? And the beautiful thing is the cardiologist that was going to do this told her, I really don't want to do this for you. I've made a lot of money from your family because he has installed at least 9 stents. 9 stents in her brothers. 2 for this one, 3 for that one, 4 for the other one. So it's like, if it's possible, I really don't want to do any more business from your family. So, and an angioplasty costs about 400 to 500,000 pesos, right? So she looked at me, she said, Shen, is there a way you can do something about it? I said, okay. When is your angioplasty scheduled? She said, in a month's time. She said, soon. I said, can you call your doctor and check if you can delay it by a month? Is this something that he feels comfortable with? And then she called, he said, okay. And then what I told her, she took liquid extract. I said, since you want it so fast, let's try the strongest, right? And guess what? A month later, when she was going for her angioplasty, she's scheduled for it, so she was going. Before they do an angioplasty, they will do an angiogram just to check, all right? And guess what? She was already anesthetized.
Yeah.
Already asleep in the operating theater doing the angiogram. And then next thing she wake up, she's not in the operating theater. Her cardiologist actually said to her, I'm sorry to schedule you for the angioplasty because actually when I did your angiogram, everything is clear. So I pulled you out of the operation theater. We did not go through with your angioplasty. So she saved 400,000 pesos. And the good thing is she really cleared. So imagine she cleared the block that required angioplasty. But you have to know the way she did it was not localized. Which means all the other parts of her veins in the rest of her body
it would have cleared as well.
Would also have been cleared.
Yeah, because the principle here with atherosclerosis, if they see one block in one vessel, the others are most likely have blockages as well. Okay, so it's a systemic disease. It's not just in one part of your body. Okay.
So that's good news. Dr. Jansen says, confirms it can be reversed. So if you want to know specifically the actual lifestyle approaches you have to take in order to reverse atherosclerosis and the PIPA protocols that will speed up that whole process, as in the case I shared, please arrange for a consult with Dr. Jansen, because this has got to do with dosage, right? So before we give you the dosage, we've got to know more details specific to your case. Okay, yeah. Hi, welcome Susan, calling from watching from Rizal Medical Center. So is this a fellow medical practitioner? Welcome. All right, Doc, there's a question from Lagaya Tan. Is granuloma a cancer?
No, it's not.
It's a tumor though.
Granuloma is not a cancer. Okay, granuloma is just it's not a tumor. It's
a growth.
Is it an outgrowth? No. Granuloma is just a healing process. Okay. When does granuloma happen? No. So when you have an infection, okay, so the body fights the infection, right? Now, after the body has fought the infection is gone, the body is damaged because of the infection. The body will now need to heal. When the body healed already, okay, and the healing process have occurred for quite some time already, that part which was damaged and healed up becomes a granuloma.
Like a scar tissue.
Yeah, it's like a scar tissue, though it's really not a scar. But
Okay.
for more to understand it better,
A simple
just
concept.
Scar tissue would be better, but really it's not a scar tissue. It's an aftermath of healing process. Okay, so granuloma is not cancer. Usually, where do we find granulomas? We usually find it in patients who have had a previous infection, like tuberculosis.
Okay, I'm sure I'm going to ask this follow-up question on behalf of Lagaya. Is this, can granuloma develop into cancer?
No.
Okay, so you got your answer. Sleep well tonight. I'm sure that was bothering you. All right, so I asked both that follow-up question for you. All right. Any other questions, Jen?
Yes.
Maybe last 1 or 2 questions. We have reached 9 o'clock already
I
tonight.
think this will be our last question for tonight, coming from Miss Melody de Ocera. Why antihypertensive drugs causes bipedal edema?
Not all. The antihypertensive drug that you are referring to is calcium channel blockers. Why does calcium channel blockers produce edema? It's because they inhibit the blood vessel from narrowing up. So when your blood vessels are opened up, the gap junctions are also opened up. So if the gap junctions, medical term again.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to explain it a little bit further. Okay, imagine your blood vessels. So your blood vessels is not a solid like your pipe.
It's like Lego.
There
are gaps.
There are gaps. So it's like a net.
A net.
Okay, it's like a net. It's just that the holes are very
small.
Okay, so in between those small gaps, that is where fluid can ooze out. Now the problem is with calcium channel blockers, especially at a very high dose. Calcium. How does calcium function?
Constricts, allow for
with the blood vessel. So it controls the constricting and relaxing of the blood vessel. If you block the effect of calcium, the blood vessels won't be able to constrict. It will be permanent, not really
relaxed.
permanent. It will be relaxed as long as the drug's effect is in place. So if the blood vessel is relaxed, fluid inside from
Come
your
out.
blood can come out. Okay, so that is why. So if you are someone experiencing edema with calcium channel blockers like amlodipine, please go for a consult so I can change your medication. Okay, there are other solutions.
there's good
that.
news. There are other solutions. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it really is basically part of physiology, how the muscles work. Calcium is important for muscles, and in this case, your blood vessels to constrict So if you block the calcium, then the blood vessels cannot tighten up. If they cannot tighten up, then they are relaxed, then the water seeps out. All right, and that's why you have edema, because edema is the buildup of fluid. All right, okay.
So, last question from Ma'am Ligayatan again. Doc, if you have complete right block bundle, is it possible to have heart attack in the near future?
No. Okay, right bundle branch block. Okay. For this, I have to show you a picture of the heart. Anyway, just imagine, okay? So your heart is shaped like a mango. Okay? So cut that up cross-sectionally. Yeah, like so, okay? So when you cut your heart like so, it will form 4 chambers. Okay? Now, the electrical activity of the heart comes from the right atrium. Okay? Right atrium.
Yeah.
Okay? So from the right atrium, that is where the electrical pulse of the heart starts. Then the electrical impulse will move to the center of the heart. Then from there, you have 2 big wires. Okay, I call them wires called your bundle branches. Okay, so you have your right and you have your left. The right bundle branch supplies electricity to the right side of the heart, or specifically to the right ventricle. The left bundle branch supplies electricity to the left side of the heart. Okay, so for a complete right bundle branch block, meaning complete block, it means that
no electricity signals.
Yeah, the wire was completely cut off. Okay, so even if you cut off the electricity completely, your right heart will still pump. You will not have a heart attack from there. Okay, it will still pump because there are tributaries of the electrical impulses. So it's just that the right
weaker?
heart will be weaker in terms of pumping. So with this, if you have a diagnosis such as this, it's very important that you live a healthy diet, okay, or eat a healthy diet, live a very healthy lifestyle, okay. Do everything you can to prevent atherosclerosis. If you have a high cholesterol level, it is in your best interest to lower that or to normalize that. Okay? So how much cholesterol should you aim for? It is 150. Okay? But to answer your question, having a bundle branch block is not a risk factor of having a heart attack. Okay? Not a risk factor.
Wow, so I guess it's Miss Ligaya from the profile picture, but I may be wrong. Okay. Today, 2 good news. First of all, granuloma is not cancer and it won't become cancer. You can sleep well tonight. Second one, you are not exposed to risk of a heart attack or exacerbated risk of heart attack because of your complete right block bundle. But Dr. Jansen gave you a very specific thing to look out for, which is to live a healthy lifestyle to prevent atherosclerosis. I want to tell you right now, this is my area of expertise, PPAR's protocols can prevent the build-up of atherosclerosis, all right? So at a very bare minimum, take our tablets, 10 tablets 10 micro tablets 2 times a day. It will not only help with your atherosclerosis, it will help with your blood cholesterol, it will help with your blood sugar, it will help with inflammation. So if you have things like gout and all that. And the last thing is anti-aging. I mean, me and Dr. Jansen are side by side now on video, right? I am much older than Dr. Jansen. I am turning 49. Oh my God! I'm turning 49 this year, all right? And I'll be 50 years old next year. So I've been taking PPAR tablets. I am not a cancer patient or heart patient, but I've been taking it for the last 20 years, and I take it to maintain my health, and it has a very strong anti-aging effect. All right, so that's good news. Doc, maybe one last one, and then last words. Okay. All right, this one is a good question. I think he's concerned. Good evening, Doc. What can cause the heart rate to become more than 150 per minute? Wow, which is very high, without any reason. And what dangers can happen? It happened to his niece recently.
Yeah, 150 beats per minute is really very fast, no? So if it happens,
it's life-threatening.
Yeah, it can be because the ejection or the efficiency of the pumping of the heart can decrease. So your knees can faint with this, no? But if it's 150 beats per minute, there are a number of reasons for this, no? So number one, does she have a thyroid problem? Okay. Number two, innately in her heart, does she have congenital heart disease? So these things have to be investigated. If this thing happens again, no, so what can you do? So you just have to massage this part, this area here, both area, okay? Massage this again and again in circular slow motion. So by massaging this area of the neck, this can lower the heart rate, okay? So that's just a first aid. But immediately when this happens again, you have to go for an ER consult because this can be an emergency. It's an urgent matter.
Doc, for the fact that this thing happened, would you advise Iman for his knees to go and see a specialist?
Yes. I think it would be prudent to go see a cardio and lifestyle medicine doctor. Okay, because there are things that we do that can influence heart rate.
So, Doc, as you have mentioned for Iman, the fact that this even happened could be because his knees might have a thyroid problem, but they didn't know. So that's why that's why you said it happened without any reason.
Yes.
The reason why it seems like that is because you didn't know she had a condition. So it's not that it's without any reason. Perhaps there is an existing condition. There should be an existing condition because 150 per minute is, even an athlete it's very, very fast. It's literally life threatening.
It's like me going up the stairs at a pace of
I have a friend who actually, his son actually reached that 150 per minute. It was in ICU. When they managed to get their heart rate back to normal, the nurses were clapping their hands. Yeah. That means how scary, how close to death it was for his son. And for that one, it was actually a reaction, he believed. It was a reaction to a vaccination. So there is probably a reason.
There must.
Yeah. So you could start with a consult with Dr. Jansen, because a consult with Dr. Jansen can be done over a teleconsult. So that will be easier than going straight to a specialist. But I'm sure after the conversation with Dr. Jansen, you will get a clearer picture on what to do. And to answer Ses LG, what tablets? PIPA tablets, all right? I'm sure either Beth or Sheila or Jen will come into contact. I will contact you later to share with you more. But I think we've run out of time. So, Jen?
Yeah, so looks like we've covered all our questions. Just before we say goodbye, can we give our viewers your parting words for the night? Starting off with Sir Shyan.
Okay, I'll start first. Heart disease. I think the big take home today is heart blockage, which is atherosclerosis, can be reversed. Hallelujah, right? And it can be reversed not with drugs, because no drugs actually do it. Cannot be reversed with surgery, because surgery gives a temporary solution, and the solution itself can get clogged again. So there is an option to be able to reverse it. And what's the foundation of it? Here it is. The human body is described with one word, homeostasis, which means a balanced position. If you get too hot, your body will sweat to cool you down. If you get very cold, your body will shake to warm you up. No matter what happens on the outside, your internal temperature is always 36.7 degrees Celsius. We are always in balance. So definitely Mother Nature or God has already designed us. If you ate the wrong thing and have a build-up of plaque in your body already has a system to get rid of it, right? You drink too much water, you go wee-wee. You take the wrong thing, you vomit, you have LBM so that the toxins will come out. So based on this understanding, many things, almost all conditions in your body can actually be brought back to balance as long as you're not over the limit by too much. So that can be done with lifestyle protocols by Dr. Jansen. It can be maintained and speed up with PIPA protocols. So for that, just indicate your interest in wanting to know how you can keep your arteries clear, keep your veins clear, avoid possible strokes and heart attacks, and we will reach out to you. Either Sheila and Jen will reach out to you, or Beth will also reach out to you, especially if you want to consult. Okay, so just indicate, make the comments in the comment, and the team will go and answer you later. Doc.
So our topic for tonight is really very important, because the number one killer in our society right now is not cancer, it's actually heart attack. Okay, so for those of you who are really fond of getting your blood works done, yeah, it's good to get blood works done, but please do something about it. Okay, very important. You have to take your meds. If you're not taking your meds, or you're already taking your meds and you're still eating junk, so please eat healthily, live healthily. Because even if you're taking your meds, if your lifestyle is really bad, your meds will just add up more and more and more and more and more. Okay, I've seen this personally many times already in my practice. Right? So yeah, the lesson for tonight is, please take action. Please do some changes.
Hey, and just to add to it, Doc Jansen is really back walking his talk. He's going to the gym. He signed up a gym, and I'm seeing him going to the gym, because I think over the holiday season, he looked a little blessed.
Well, God is there. Yeah, I already developed backache. Being 33 years old, backache. Come on, man. This shouldn't be happening. So yeah, it's because of me being sedentary for a very long period of time. So I'm now beginning exercising again 3 times a week. So yeah, hopefully I get back in shape in due time. Okay. So that's it.
I just want to say hi to Lily. I didn't see much comments from you today. Glad to know that you're still with us today. Such a different topic from our usual cancer, but I think very useful and helpful. And not only is Doc Jansen going back to the gym, me too. I just ran two clicks yesterday. Okay, I'm going to run another 2 tomorrow. 3 times a week. We are going to compete. I can't let him catch up to me. All right. Good night, everybody. Jen?
Yeah, so Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Be sexy, take Cleansing Plus, and give your loved ones the best gift of health with Simply Nature Bars. And so thank you once again for watching Simply Health webinar. We hope to see you in all our future webinars to come. Same day, same time, every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Next webinar will be entitled Better Access to Cancer Care for Children and Adolescents.
Oh, this one is a good one. Janet actually runs a charity outreach called Child House. It's amazing. I've been there. We've served there. Dr. Jansen and I went together. We were so touched that we both decided that we would send. We made a commitment, not immediately, but if any of the kids that we saw that day or in the future ever need a scholarship to become a doctor. These are kids that are suffering from cancer. We said that we will sponsor them and send them to school. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So we, Dr. Jansen and I have at least 5 years to prepare that fund because it costs quite a lot to send a kid to med school. Yeah. But it's really amazing. I think Janet's going to share. So for all those people who have cancer, who are and have kids, no kids who have cancer, and for those who have a heart for the whole cancer movement, and you want to know how you can do some positive things, let me share with you that this is an amazing organization. They are really transparent. They are very responsible. They don't take money for you for any other reason. The money goes straight to the children, and it's really worth just to hear what they do. And of course, we'll have our Ask Me Anything segment that everybody enjoyed tonight. All right, so see you next week.
Because your curiosity about your health condition and your victory over cancer and metabolic diseases is what keeps us going. Because here in Simply Nature, we're always with you from start to healing. Thank you.
And don't worry, those of you who are asking for the links to Dr. Jansen, there will be a private message to be. You'll be contacted over the next few hours. Messages will be sent to you so that you can get your consult. All right. Good night, everyone.